Once upon a time, in a kingdom surrounded by lush green hills and sparkling rivers, there lived a beautiful princess named Saraphina. Though she had wealth beyond measures, there was an emptiness in her heart that no amount of gold could fill. Time and time again, men had persuaded her not for who she truly was, but for the riches that surrounded her and the power her father the king possessed. Heartbroken and weary from this shadow affliction from these men, Seraphina decided to leave her royal life behind, disguising herself as a blind, ragged village girl. She donned tattered clothes, smeared her face with dirt, and tied a piece of cloth over her eyes. With nothing but small sacks slung over her shoulders, she left her kingdom in the dead of the night, determined to find a place where love wasn't tied to her father's wealth. Seraphina traveled for days until she reached a distant, unknown land, where no one knew her name nor her face. Here, people saw only a poor blind girl wandering aimlessly through the streets. The villagers, rather than showing compassion, treated her like a charity case. They sneered and whispered behind her back, "Look at her, so filthy and helpless." One woman muttered, "She is a burden to society." Children threw stones at her, while merchants refused to sell her food, believing she couldn't pay. Some nights she would sleep on the cold, hard ground, her stomach growling with hunger, and no one offered her a hand. Though she had disguised herself to escape her old life, Seraphina realized that being poor and helpless in this world meant being invincible. One fatal day, after being robbed of the few coins she had managed to gather, Seraphina collapsed in an alley. Weak and defeated, her face was streaked with tears and dirt, and she had lost all hope. But just as she was about to give up, a young man appeared. He was an orphan farmer named Thomas, with hands clasped with hard work and clothes as worn as hers. He had nothing, but he had a good heart. Without asking who she was or where she had come from, Thomas knelt beside her. "Are you all right?" he asked softly. Seraphina, still playing her part, nodded weakly. I'm fine. I have nothing left." Thomas offered her his hand. "Come with me. You can stay at my farm. I don't have much, but I won't let you suffer alone." And so Seraphina went with him. The farmhouse was small and humble, with cracks in the wall and a roof that leaked when it rained. But Thomas shared everything he had with her. He would cook simple meals for them both, fetch water from the well, and work in the farm from dawn until dusk. Yet he always returned with a smile for her. Now, living together, Seraphina and Thomas grew close. He saw her not as a burden, but as a companion. Seraphina, despite her disguise, felt safe and cherished for the first time. Thomas never asked for anything in return, and his gentle care made her fall in love with him. One evening, as they sat by the fireplace, Thomas confided in her. "You know," he said, "I have always dreamt of something better, but I have learned to be happy with the little that I have. And now I have you. That's enough for me." Tears welled up in Seraphina's eyes, but she couldn't reveal her secret. She had come to love him too deeply and feared that if he knew who she truly was, things would change. But fate, as always, had other plans. One day, while working in the farm, Thomas had a terrible accident. A cart of heavy stone overturned, crushing his leg and leaving him gravely injured. Seraphina rushed to his side, panic rising in her chest. The local doctor, a man of limited skills, examined Thomas and gravely shook his head and said, "He needs surgery, something far beyond what I can offer. Without it, he won't survive." Seraphina knew what she had to do. Her love for Thomas was too strong to let him die. She washed up nicely, got some change of clothes, and rode back to her kingdom as fast as she could. When she arrived at the palace, her father the king was shocked but overjoyed to see her. "Seraphina, where have you been?" Without hesitation, she explained everything, her voice shaking with urgency. "Father, I need your help. There is a man, Thomas, who saved my life, and now he needs our help." The king, moved by his daughter's story, immediately summoned the best doctors from across the land. Thomas was brought to the royal palace, where he was treated with utmost care. After days of worry and sleepless nights, the surgery was a success. When Thomas awoke, his eyes fell on Saraphina, standing by his side, dressed in her royal gown. At first, he didn't recognize her. "Saraphina?" he whispered, confused. "What? What is this?" She knelt beside him, her heart in her throat. "I am not the blind village girl you thought I was, Thomas. I am Princess Saraphina. I lied about who I was because I wanted to find someone to love me, not for my title or for my wealth." Thomas stared at her in disbelief, but then a slow smile spread across his face. "I never loved you for what you seem to be. I loved you for your heart, and that hasn't changed." Tears filled Seraphina's eyes as she took his hand. "And I love you too," she said. "You have shown me the kind of love I have searched for all my life." From that day on, Thomas was treated as royalty, and the kingdom rejoiced when Seraphina announced that she had found a prince. Not one born into wealth or power, but one whose heart was rich with kindness and love. Together they ruled the kingdom, proving that true love was not found in riches or status, but in the bond between two souls. Thank you guys. If you're just joining, I want you to subscribe, like, and share my videos. And then see you in the next episode of Ibere's Folktale. Bye bye.